One day, I was watching TV with my brother. Now, we watched a lot of cartoons from around 2008 to 2015, a good chunk of our childhood. So you could say we were quite familiar with Sponegbob Squarepants. So when I was watching TV with my brother, the episode Squidville came on, and I instantly knew I had previously watched this episode as a child. When I was watching this episode as a young adult, I noticed very serious themes such as racism, nationalistic pride, segregation, and even more. None of which more prevalent than the idea of an ethno-state. If you didn't know what an ethno-state is, a sovereign state of which citizenship is restricted to members of a particular racial or ethnic group. So yeah, a pretty serious thing. Now seeing this in SpongeBob was surprising and made me wonder what the late great Steven Hillenburg was trying to tell us. So I will now investigate this episode. The episode Squidville starts off with the minorities of SpongeBob SquarePants the Sponge and Patrick Star the Starfish annoying Squidward the Squid. They are disturbing the peace by playing around with a very loud leaf blower. They even wreck and damage his property. Squidward then comes to confront them, and it nearly becomes very violent. I myself could feel the racial tension between them. While basically threatening to kill himself, Squidward watches an advertisement for an ethnic squid ethno-state enclave called Tentacle. It is obviously that this township is segregated and for ethnic squids only, and they obviously discriminate against other minorities and only welcome their own kind. While living there, Squidward quickly becomes bored of this squid-only society. The people are boring and cynical, just like him. It is very uniform there, and although it is peaceful, as there are no violent minorities like SpongeBob and Patrick, but with no minorities the culture begins to stagnate, and everything becomes boring and the same. The stores seem to be very health conscious and bougie. The activities are very boring and bland. The other ethnicities can't infuse their culture with the squids, as they don't welcome other cultures. And they don't let other cultures come in and assimilate to the society. So the society is very stuck in its ways. Despite this society being segregated, the minority SpongeBob and Patrick still try to harass Squidward. They are very vindictive and can't stop their harassment of Squidward, as we can see. Anyway, Squidward is bored of the perfect society, and he wants to move back in his old mixed society with the minorities. This obviously shows the minorities have rubbed off on him, as he begins to act like them. He becomes the thing that he hated. He then begins to become a crazed deviant, and begins to harass innocent people. He even physically injures and mutilates people, and destroys people's lives, just like what happened to him previously. The minorities arrive again, and invade the society. They even stink up the place with their sheer disgustingness. While there, they begin to spew their racist vitriol, just like real world parallels. Squidward then becomes an anarchist, and begins to display his thoughts to the public. When called out on this, he realizes instead of bitching, he can just leave and go create chaos somewhere else, which he does, and this ends the episode. Now I see many real world parallels to this episode. The first thing that came to mind is Northeast America. Think the states of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. We can tell that Tentacle Acres is very liberal, as they have expensive healthy stores like Whole Foods. They do weird boring activities like weird dancing and other gay shit. They are also quite wealthy, just like modern day liberals. And of course these states are very white and don't have many minorities. Tentacle Acres is also like Japan in terms of being very xenophobic, and they're also quite wealthy states. Another parallel that I just noticed was that while living in the perfect society, there was still someone bitching about how things are run. We saw this in fact when Donald Trump, the 45th president, was elected. We saw many liberals complaining and crying, saying how they are gonna leave the country, but never did. But in this, we see that Squidward still bitches, but instead of just staying and complaining about stuff, he just leaves. So yeah, a bit of a parallel there and a bit of a difference. That was my analysis of the episode. The analysis being that the society was very similar to Northeast America and the ethno-state of Japan. We see racist minorities, and we see bitching people in a society that is perfect. Analysis over, time for an outro. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was fun recording audio. Gotta do the editing now. But anyway, need to talk about a couple things. The NBA season's starting soon. I'll start working on some videos. Got some absolute bangers. Thank you for the 400 views on that Fire Force memes video. That's fucking insane. I think I said that in my last talk video about Fever, which was really shit. I appreciate the criticism in that video by that one person. He was right. The video was pretty shit and forced and rushed. Had problems doing that shit with Wi-Fi, but anyway. Yeah, this video was a lot of fun to make. Might make sort of similar memey, sort of political videos. Pretty fun to write. And yeah. Thank you. Oh, and I might work on a fucking outro screen soon. But I guess I'll just have some epic Far Cry 3 gameplay in the back. I'm probably forgetting a couple things, but I want to wrap out this outro because it's going way too fucking long. Peace.